Hi, I'm Mark Hammer. I'm head of operations here at Nuvair, and today I'm here to introduce you to our brand new Nitrox trailer. It's a portable Nitrox generating system purchased by a contractor who's going to be out at a resort location working on repairing dams and lakes and stuff, and he needed something that he could fill tanks with that wouldn't disturb the people and the wildlife, who are there trying to have a good time. So let's go take a look at this thing. So starting out on the side here, this is our high pressure compressor, and here we have it feeding our high pressure condensate catch. And that is feeding a bucket that will need to be drained every day, basically tossed out. And this is the high pressure compressor. It's being fed by the membrane system. And this is where the oxygen enriched air, the nitrox, will be being pumped into the high pressure compressor at about 125, 150 psi, so low pressure. And it's going to pump it up to the higher pressures that they're going to need to fill their tanks, or the banks, depending on what they happen to be filling at that time. This is the membrane system with the heater, and the heater heats the air so the membrane is more efficient. And here's the ambient air intake, and this is the mixing tube here, so it's going to pump the oxygen enriched air in here with regular intake here, mix it so we get our right percentage that we're after here, and we control that using the regulator on the low pressure compressor back here. This is a Nuvair LP300 Marine. It's an open frame, and here's where we would control the mix going through that tube by varying the pressure here on the regulator on the LP300 machine. Now also back in here is our low pressure filtration and our low pressure condensate catch and our drain bucket that we're going to need to drain every day. And right next to that is our main control panel, and in here is going to be your breakers for your lights. We have a 4-gang wall socket down there that's weatherproof in use, so you can charge your computers, charge your phones, and then the other 2 switches are one each dedicated for each compressor there. These switches should be off when you're doing the hookup for the trailer. Above that, we have the rack to hold the fill hoses and the fill whips. And we were planning for the fill zone to be in this area here, but we've also made them long enough so you can fill them outside the door if you're in a hurry and you guys don't want to lift them up into the truck. All that is being fed off of our PN Nitrox panel. This is a 4-bank control panel. You can switch between your banks here, pumping air, pumping nitrox in and out of the banks with your bank controls, and a final mix analyzer here to make sure that you're getting the right mix in the banks as you're filling them. And as we come around here, you're going to see we have your shore power switch. This handles these overhead lights right here, and the 4-gang socket. These are active while you're plugged into shore power. They are not active when you're plugged into the truck. If you're only plugged into the truck, the smaller light here is what will function. They are independent systems, so they do not mix. You'd have to, if you want both on, you'd have to have both hooked up, the truck and the shore power. And then moving along, we have our high banks here, or our high pressure banks here, and they're in a frame to protect, crash frame to protect it, just in case, God forbid, they ever get separated from the trailer in an accident. Try and keep them all together and keep them from turning into missiles. And the last thing to notice, we've marinized the floors to protect it from the spray, which contains oil and water. It is a wood floor underneath here. This coating is not only anti-slip, but it also protects from that oil and water and keeps the floor from rotting out. We've also soundproofed this both above and on the sides. It should have some thermal absorption properties, and in fact, as we've run it here in testing, we've noticed that it does prefer to be run with the doors closed. And we've set it up with that intention, as this compressor sucks in the cool air to cool the compressor, and this compressor here blows it out. So we've essentially created an airflow through here to keep the air changing constantly, to keep these cool and to keep the system operating at peak performance at all times. This is our new Nitrox trailer.